Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, here with the IMDb at San Diego Comic-Con 2019, and look, it's the cast of The Walking Dead. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. How are all of you still alive, man? Like, good Lord, what's the secret to staying alive on this show?
We're hanging by threads, all of us, probably, right?
Yeah. At this point. You guys just got off stage, is that correct?
Yeah.
How did the panel go for this season?
I think that the teaser for season 10 was spectacular.
Is it season 10 now?
Season 10, yeah. And I you know, this year, this panel, this Comic-Con is really about our friend Danai here. And
why is that? Tell us.
Well, ask Danai.
What's the reason, Danai?
Thanks, DDM. Great seeing you out there. Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Is this it for you? Is this the farewell tour?
This is my final season with the show. It is painfully so. So it was a very emotional panel for me, sharing that with my family. You know, the fans who've loved us all for so many seasons, and you know, I've just grown so much and become such a lover of these people in this world, and so it was a very emotional day, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful to be with these people and to share. Now
that. You're not. Are you in the world of airing shows and shooting shows? They're always shooting stuff that you shot a long time ago. Are always airing stuff you shot a long time ago. Are you still working, or are you done?
Well, why would I tell you that, Kevin? You tell me. I ain't telling you that.
That's a secret? That's one of those spoiler things?
I don't know. It might be. As long as it might be, I'm not telling you.
We just know that she's in season 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot.
You two particularly have been there from the damn jump, man. Like, who do you know in the writer's room that you never wind up sitting on the Talking Dead couch
Norman
like
makes some
that?
cookies.
Yeah, we're sleeping with a lot of people.
They've outlived the writers. They've outlived the writers on the show.
That's damn true.
Yeah. You and me, girl.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I think your initial question, I think adaptability for Carol. How she's lived this long. Adapting, being clever.
When you come here, are there hardcore Carol people? We know they're hardcore Walking Dead fans, but there are people like, fuck everyone else, I just like Carol.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure how they feel about everyone else, but I know that they're mad about Carol. I know they're diehard, hardcore Carol fans. And they send letters. They stop me in the street. They stop me here. They tell me their stories. They tell me what they love about her, and you know how in some cases she's changed their life. Which I think, you know, I think
long
all
wigs too.
Yeah, there's summer Carol, winter Carol. Yeah. But the costumes are fun and the cosplay is really fun too. But yeah, yo, hey, hey, see.
It's funny, like I respond when people are like, Bob, I'm like, yes, even though it's not my name. You just did the same thing. They're like, Carol, and they're like, hello.
Well, nobody knows my real name. They really didn't. Nobody caught me.
They never come up to you and
you
say,
play Carol on The Walking Dead. They don't say, hey, you're Melissa McBride. They either say, Carol, or you play Carol.
I mean, that's got to...
Yeah, right.
Melissa?
See?
Do you feel like that's got to be like the highest compliment to an actor? You've
That's fine with me.
disappeared into the role.
That's
they
fine
just
with
know
me.
you as Carol. What was it like being in a Rickless world for you guys?
I like that. Rickless world.
Who's that?
So Rickless. Stop being so Rickless.
Michelle was like,
Rickless behavior.
We talked to him yesterday, Jeff and I, and I said, it's weird that you're not here. I don't know who to put all my room service bills on. Because that's literally thousands of dollars we put on his room over the course of a couple years. And he goes, that's the sole reason I left this show. But yeah, it's weird without Rick, I have to say. You know, we came here and one of the people that works at the hotel put little Rick pictures all over our rooms, in the toilet, in the bed, in the shower. Yeah. So our rooms were covered with Rick.
There's Rick Grimes smiling at me.
Yeah, but yeah, we miss Rick, of course.
We miss him, and then, you know, the knowing that Danai is also, so a Danai and Rickless world, it's hard. It's another adjustment, but, you know, year 10 of this show, that's rarefied air, and I think Angela and the writers have a really good grasp of what's happening moving forward, and we'll see what that world looks like. But I think what we did last year after Andy left, I was very proud of, and hopefully we'll be able to do the same thing now with Danai leaving. But it's a hole that you can never fill. That's the truth of the matter. You can't fill Andy or Danai leaving the show.
And 10 years on the air, man, like you said, it's rarefied air, but it's not just that. The show has become a part of the American DNA. Like, it's a part of us. I would imagine walking away from not just friends, but like the cultural impact. Like, a lot of us know you because of Michonne, leaving the sword behind.
That was really, really, really hard.
Yeah, right?
I mean, will be. I mean, it is. I don't know. Sorry.
No worries. No, I was enjoying what you were saying. Let me talk about this season coming up, because I really just, part of me that wants to focus on the history, but we should focus on the future. Whisperers are in this. That brings you new to this season, correct?
Yeah, man.
You wear a lot of dead clothing, dead
Correct.
skins?
This is correct. I do.
They tell you that when you got the job? Like,
Oh,
you're going to
yeah.
be dressed terribly.
Yeah. No, they were like, you're gonna die in the heat. Yeah.
These folks who were already
Terrible
in
people,
Atlanta
all
and
of
whatnot,
them.
they could, I guess, prepared you for what was to come?
Yeah.
We tried. He's not real good at listening, it turns out.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing. A couple trips to the hospital for heat exhaustion, but it's sacrifice.
Told
It's
you to
sacrifice.
Gatorade,
I know, Gatorade. Yeah, now you tell me. You tell me that now. Yeah,
Not so much the Walking Dead, the bitching dead.
Actually, maybe we
It's
purposely
hot in
didn't.
Atlanta.
Some microphones. What's wrong?
I know, right?
Now, when did you join?
Last year.
And how's it been?
It's been pretty cool, thanks.
Is it weird walking into a high school in sophomore year when everybody's already made friends and stuff?
It's funny that you should say it like that, because that's exactly how it feels. It feels like, I was just saying on the panel, it feels like being the new kids at school. You're hoping like, are people going to like me? Are they going to will we get to stay for a bit? How is everyone going to receive us? And we were lucky because we entered the show as a group. So we got to hang out and sort of go through that experience. We got to share it rather than it just be someone shouting abuse at me for saying that. Okay. It was like, I hate you. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, it's been amazing. And then this time returning, it feels a little bit more like home every time. So we've been settling in pretty well.
I think what's really great is the beauty of what JDM was saying is there's so many great people who've come in and who really bring more story and more complexity and more narrative over and over again. And like the writers, as they were saying, are so great at that. But then the folks who come in, the energy they bring, like Eleanor and Nadia and Dan and then of course Ryan and Sam, and there's so much great energy that comes in and just cracks the world open again and again and again, as it would be, because it's an apocalypse, and everybody has a different story about how they've made it this far, and now we're like 7-8 years in.
Right.
So it's a whole other thing from when Rick wakes up in the hospital, and what is that? And there's so much more to explore, and the actors that were mentioned today on stage, like Gaylan Hurd mentioned a couple more that are coming on this season, and they're just spectacular, and so it's actually really exciting what's unfolding consistently and continually on the show.
Did anybody get scared when recently Robert Kirkman just, without warning, I mean, he even went out of his way to be tricky about it. He solicited for future issues of The Walking Dead, but then all of a sudden just stopped the book. But intentionally, he wasn't like, we got to run. But he was like, I want to end the story on my terms and whatnot. He's ended the source material, but you guys have never been completely beholden to the source material. But is that freeing, liberating, or is it kind of like...
It's funny because I was a little bit freaked out. As a fan of the comic book as well, and had no idea that it was going to end. But I was listening to him before we went on stage. Kirkman was up there talking about it, along with Gimple, and talking about where and how this show exists within the confines of what the comic book was. And they're quite sure that there's plenty of story, not only based on what was written that Robert did, but
Right.
beyond that, because we have deviated enough. And I mean, look, the biggest difference was always Daryl. It was not part of the comics, and now, you know, look at him now. And so I think that the show, and I think as long as we continue to have people like Angela, you know, running the show, and they've got an idea where these stories are going. But you hate that the comic book ended, just as a fan of that kind of genre. And
I hated it, but at the same time, like, I loved his
How he did
style.
it. Yeah,
Like, that was
I did
perfectly
too.
Robert.
I did too.
I was on set that day, and like folks were just like, folks were like, "What does this mean?"
Yeah, what-
Yeah, like,
There was a
did you hear
moment-
this?
Yeah.
There was a
I'll do
moment
you
like,
one better. I had him, Robert came out and did a day on my movie, playing himself. And while we were there on set, I was just like, because we were talking about the show, and then we were talking about the book. And Robert, for those that don't know, he owns the book, so he controls as long as that wants to go. And we were on set 2 months before he canceled the book, and I was just like, how's the book going? He goes, good. I said, how long do you think you can keep going with it? He goes, a lifetime. And then like 2 months later, I texted him, I was like, you lying piece of shit.
Asshole. That's kind of how I felt too. I think
It's
we
like
all
real
did.
life. Like, but he ended it like real life ends. I
Yes.
remember that character Axel on our show. That you weren't here yet,
No.
but you remember Axel? You were talking to him, and he gets just shot and died. It was like one of the best killings on our show because it happened in real time. I think if Kirkman would have had a long, drawn out ending, we wouldn't have liked it.
If we had seen
I
it
liked
coming,
his style.
yeah.
Yeah.
True. All right, you guys are on the boat. You've done this before. You know what it is. Pick one question. Everybody answers that question.
All right. What is your most memorable fan moment? Norman, you can begin.
Most memorable fan moment.
Wait, so I answer that question?
Yes, everybody does.
Oh my God. My most favorable.
And it could go either way. You as a fan or somebody as a fan to you.
Oh, let's do me then.
Let's do Tom
yeah.
Cruise yesterday.
Yeah, we met Tom Cruise. That was cool. But
We
that's
were
not my
totally
most
fanboys.
memorable.
Where'd you meet him?
We met him at we did Conan, where I stole these shoes. But my most memorable, I was at a party and somebody knew I was sort of had a crush on Suzanne Summers when I was younger, watching Three's Company, and he introduced me to Suzanne Summers, right? And I was super nervous, and she goes, "Norman, did you grow up on me?" And I go, "You have no idea." Yeah, that was my favorite.
Farrah Fawcett for me.
Yeah, Farrah's good too.
I'll
Now
go
what?
next.
ahead.
We did meet Tom Cruise yesterday, and we did a skit to open the show, and then Tom was the guest for the remainder, and we were backstage, and it's like, should we stay to try to say hi to him? And they showed the Top Gun 2 trailer, and we were both back there
So cool.
screaming and
Yeah.
yelling, and oh God, we're gonna go see that movie, and then we stayed. And we talked to him for a good 45 minutes as total idiots. We were just like, we could hardly talk.
About
We were-
motorcycles.
Anyway,
Yeah,
we
it was
talked about
great.
motorcycles and everything else, but it was super cool. It's rare that you meet someone that kind of meant so much to you. You know what I mean?
It's nice that somebody who is used to having fans can fan out on others.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
So
about
that-
you, Melissa?
My most memorable was it was probably getting accosted in the store. Just you know, you're doing your thing, and then you're going through the aisle, and then you see in your peripheral somebody stops, disappears, comes back, and then they walk toward, and you turn, and they're like, "Sure, that lady, I love you."
What store was it?
I'm not telling.
But you were just that lady? You weren't Carol?
I'm not. Yeah, you're that lady that plays that lady on The Walking Dead. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yeah.
Does it feel
That
good?
was probably the most memorable.
Does it feel
yes. But it's I wouldn't say to do that. That's not a good idea to do that necessarily. But tell me what you love about her, or you know that you just appreciate that character, and that's awesome.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Via Sons, you must have felt something, right? You must have met the fans.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of my favorite ones was I was at the Grove in L.A., and I was there with one of my dogs, and this lady runs up, and she's like, "Oh, my God, can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, baby." And she's like, "Thanks." takes a picture. She's like, "Great dog." And I was like, "Yeah." And she walked away. That was it.
Ladies,
You know, it's funny. When I'm a fan of someone, I get really shy, And I really find it hard to formulate words and be like eloquent and say that, how much someone means to me. Or so anytime I've met somebody like that who I really love, I turn into this kind of very quiet, borderline rude person. You know what I mean? So if we're in a circle talking, I'm just like, hey, because I don't know what to say or do. And like, I need to work on that and improve that, because I know now, like for example, when I had my first cosplay experience where a girl was dressed up as Yumiko, and it was so spot on, and the work she'd done on it was so beautiful, and I just wanted to make sure that I received that in a better way than I give out, I suppose, if that makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're self-aware. What about you?
Wow. I always find this question obscenely difficult. I don't know why. I just, it's so hard. I'm thinking about
Go
folks.
to your fan experiences.
That's where I've been. I've been in there as well. There are a whole lot of folks I want to meet. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I have nerves about meeting, but I really, really would love to be in their presence.
Right.
And that's kind of where my brain
That's
was.
honestly why I do this gig. Like, because you get to meet a lot of people whose work has touched your life, like people you've spent time with without spending time with them.
Right.
And then you get to spend just enough time with them. Like, I got you for 10 minutes. Nobody's an asshole in 10 minutes. So, like, you can enjoy these people whose work you've enjoyed, and you encounter them, and you just get to, like, 2 minutes to be like, that thing you said once was everything to me.
Right,
Like,
right.
it's
I met
part
Anthony
of the fun.
Bourdain right over there a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. Anthony Bourdain.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's a fan moment right there.
Yeah.
I know I speak for everybody in all fandom when I say thank you for bringing Michonne to life, and we're going to miss you. We're absolutely going to miss you, man. But so happy to see you ascend. Give it up for the kids from The Walking Dead, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around for more IMDb at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 later on.